Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Holistic Health and Fitness Quest. My name is Anneke. If you've visited this channel before, you may have seen that I also knit. So besides being a therapist and doing the Holistic Health and Fitness Quest, I do all sorts of needlework, and at this moment in time it's knitting. Particularly, why did I put this out on a video? Because I use it as a mental health tool for myself. There's a quite stressful time happening in my life right now, which is a lot of things to do with the house and the landlord wanting me out. It's a thing, and I also need to get on with the rest of my life. So in order to separate me looking at websites and emails and dealing with letters from court and all the rest of it, which puts me in a certain state of mind and in a certain vibe and in a certain state of being, which may be useful for that. It's not even useful for that, but it's just getting to me. I shouldn't let it get to me, but it's been dragging on for such a long time, and it's kind of peaking. Is that a way to describe it? The issues are mounting. Maybe that's a good one. Anyway, the landlord's taking me to court. So there's that, which is not a good place to be in. And then there's the rest of my life. And the rest of my life, I really need to be in a more upbeat way, a more productive way, a more sane way, and anything but the way I feel when I'm dealing with emails and messages and weird thick envelopes arriving through the letterbox. So, knitting. I do this kind of mindless knitting, which means that there's no real pattern to it. There is some shaping taking place, but there's no cabling, there's no intricate lace work, it's just knitting. The problem with mindless knitting is that even though I know how to knit and I always create my own designs, because I despite the fact that I've been knitting all my life, I can't read a pattern for toffee. Not to save my life. So I always create my own things, and that's fine. But because of the state I've been in, and the fact that I picked up the needles and wool again for mindless knitting, just to get me away from the one state and into another state, I have ended up with a couple of things that I subsequently took apart again. So, in that, with that caveat, in that vein, in that whatever you want to call it, I took apart the scarf that I had knitted. So if you look back a couple of videos, there was a white scarf which had a kind of plissé effect, and I could only fully see the effect of my knitting once it had come off the needles, because up till then, it was all kind of flat. There were the ribs from the beginning to the end, but you couldn't see the effect. So I had to finish the project in order to see, okay, do I actually like this? I liked the idea of it, what I could make, but I wasn't going to wear the end product. So I ripped it back and I created another scarf. And here's the other scarf. It's white with a dark edge. As you can see, I haven't put in the ends yet. For the knitters amongst you, it's basically all short rows, and the rows get longer and longer and longer. So it's a substantial amount of knitting. and it doesn't quite drape the way I want it to drape. Am I going to wear this? No. So guess what? I'm going to rip it back. But I thought I'll show you first, just to show you what I've done. And it's a lovely scarf. It really is nice. I still like the colors and the color combination and the brown edge in the end. But the way it falls around my body is not what I had envisaged. The top edge didn't cinch in quite as far as I thought it would. I can make it do that, but nah. So I'm going to rip it back and I'm going to create something new from it. I'm going to do a third attempt to create some sort of wrap. And yeah, I'll see how it goes. Again, it will be something that will only be really visible once it's off the needles. Hopefully I can judge it before the time. But in the end, you know, it's meant to be mindless knitting and it does fulfill that. It ticks that box. It's just, it would be nice if I would end up with a usable product before I wear out the wool from just ripping it back. Next on the list, and I only have two things. Next on the list is, let's see, this one. Let's see the way the camera goes. This has been a sweater already, with one sleeve completed and the body completed. And as you can see, the body is in the process of being ripped back because I didn't like the way it fitted at the top. Now I'm quite busty and I had more stitches at the front than at the back, which is fine. But I didn't like the way it came together at the front. So I've started again. Also, the other thing I didn't like the process of was knitting the sleeves in the round. Last time I said cable needle, but that's not the proper word. The proper word is circular needle. I mentioned cable because it's connected by a cable. But a cable needle is a short needle to use when you create cables. Anyway, so I started, let me see, knitting two sleeves. Ta-da! They're all tangled up, but doesn't really matter. I've got a bit of a problem with the camera. The camera does the other way around, so if I move left, the camera thing moves right, which is a bit weird. Anyway, so I've knitted two sleeves flat, just because I prefer knitting to and fro to knitting in the round on a circular needle. It doesn't, not in this narrow small tube. On the body fine, but for the sleeves no. So I finished the sleeves and I've got the body. Ta-da! And I made, let's see, I made a little slit in the sides, which I still have to, put down with proper stitches, but at least the fabric is there. So both sides have got a slit, and this is how far I've got, how far I've done for the body. the original thing was I started at the top, so top down, because I didn't know how much wool it was going to take. As I have figured out, I've got plenty of wool, so I don't need to go top down. And I didn't particularly like the way I had all that fabric on my lap whilst creating a sleeve, whilst creating the rest of the body. So I'm now going bottom up and create the body first, create the sleeves first, and in another 10, maybe 15 centimeters, I will then join it all together, and I will do everything from the inset of the arms up to the neck. So that's my progress in knitting. Not much progress. Well, there's been a lot of ripping back. The rust-colored sweater, it's the third or the fourth. I think it's the fourth incarnation already. I've done the top a couple of times where it didn't quite gel. So yeah, and now from the bottom up. It's interesting times, and with everything going on, unless I get an email tomorrow, because today is already the end of the working day and I haven't had an email from the estate agent yet. So I could get an email from the estate agent tomorrow saying, oh yes, your new house has been approved and everything is going hunky-dory and good luck with it. This is our timeline and you can book the moving company. There's that possibility, which I'm currently holding out for. In that case, I will have to crack on with packing. And if that is not the case, I'll have to crack on with searching a property and finding a property and starting the procedure again. And then there might be more time for knitting. I don't know. I do know that it's not quite the right strategy for me to deal with my stuff by knitting it up and creating clothes out of the things I've got. I've got too much wool and I've got too much fabric for that. I'll never get through that before moving house. But it still works as a break state. It still works for me to deal with the house, deal with emails, deal with paperwork and all the rest of it. Take my knitting and just knit. And I only stop knitting when I've calmed down and can face the rest of my day. So it may be a silly thing for some people. It works for me. You can figure out what works for you. First, you have to recognize which bits of your life put you in a tailspin and which bits of your life can create that break state. And then you need to actually apply it to your life. If you want any more tips and tricks and things to try out for your general health and fitness, I've got a membership group which is called Holistic Health and Fitness.quest. If you type that into your search bar, a website will come up. There will be me doing some more rambling, and you can sign up. It has got every week there's a lesson, and every week there's a Q&A, and that's it. And the lessons are there for you to try out things, so you don't have to buy big courses or huge books or whatever. You can, if you know, once you've tried it and you think, actually I want to know more about that, of course, by all means, go ahead. But this is for you to try out different things, and do they work for you? So your your investment in each and every thing to try out is only a week. And most people can cope with a week. So if there's the lesson is on gratitude, you do your gratitude journal for 1 week. And if you think, oh, that's actually nice, I could do that for a longer period of time, you continue to do that under your own steam. Or if it's a certain stretch exercise and do that every day, then if it's for you, take it on board. If it's not for you, you're done with it after a week. Let it go. The whole premise of the membership group is to go for the low-hanging fruit for you. And there may be things out there that you've never heard about that might be very easy to apply and are helpful for you. So, and going for the low-hanging fruit is, well, first you need to know that it's there. But the premise is that it's for your general holistic health and fitness. And if you have to do things that stress you out, that's not holistic health and fitness. So yeah, again, the holistic health and fitness.quest. Go there, sign up. At the moment, it's the founder member stage. We're talking the 24th of February at this moment in time. It's $49 per month. And, you subscribe, and you can, of course, if it's not for you, you stop the subscription. But in principle, it keeps on rolling over. The founders, they have the privilege of being a smaller group because this is just starting up. So the founders will have more time with me. It's the Q&A every week. The chances of your questions being answered are huge because there will be only a few of you. And for things to be discussed, if that's what you want, you can participate as much as you feel comfortable with. Having said that, the more involved you are, the more you get out of the program. If you've got questions about holistic health and fitness, by all means, go ahead, ask them. If you have questions about knitting, you can ask those too. As I said, give me a picture and I will reproduce it, but I can't read a pattern. So don't ask any questions about patterns because I haven't got a clue. But yeah, if you want to know about how to create your own pattern, there are some simple, easy tips and tricks on that. So yeah, that's it for the time being. The scarf will be ripped back and will be created into hopefully another scarf. It's more of a wrap around that will stay in place all by itself. And who knows, maybe next time I'll even have a finished rust-colored woolen jumper. Maybe before it gets really warm. That would be nice. And hopefully I will move house before I need to knit more on that jumper. That would be amazing. So fingers crossed for that. And I hope to see you in the membership group. Thank you very much for listening and talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.